Good afternoon. I'm having an hour on the canal up to dark. It's quite cold, not as cold as it has been during the week. It's marginally above freezing now though, but the canal itself is still frozen in most places. As you can see from some of the footage on there, objects still on the surface, no boats up and down as of yet. However, unless it's really bad and then 100% of the canal will be frozen, you can always drop on somewhere where there's a water pipe, an overflow pipe, that at least keeps the water moving and helps you to fish there, because it won't freeze in the same way that the other sections of the canal will do. And that's where I am. I'm got some brickwork around me. I've dropped a bait down into the canal. I'm fishing a single maggot, and I'll be happy for anything to take an interest in the bait in this particular session. It's starting to rain. That's not a surprise because that's part of the forecast for this afternoon. Persistent rain, not necessarily heavy, but persistent rain, and there's a fairly strong breeze at times, although where I am, I'm tucked in nicely, so I won't feel the full effects of that. I haven't bought a brolly, I haven't even bought a chair. I'm actually sitting down next to the canal, really tight spot. I've got a 6-foot rod just hanging over the edge there, and I'm waiting for the action to begin. It'll be a tough one, of course, but my fishing has been very limited. During February, this will be just the 3rd session of the month due to the fact that I haven't felt well at all. So I'm glad to be out and about and to feel up to it, so to speak, just to get that bait in the water. I watched Wolves beat Southampton on television this afternoon, 1-0 down at the break, and it wasn't looking very good at all. In fact, I think for the first time since his arrival, I was beginning to feel that Nuno was maybe coming to an end as far as being the Wolves manager was concerned. I think he was under a lot of pressure. Certainly from my point of view, just as a fan, I had no problems. It wasn't an issue to me, but I know the club will be expecting very high returns on their investment, and that hasn't been the case this season. And to turn it round, to win 2-1, you only have to see the manager's reactions come the final whistle just to know how important a win that was. And a game of 2 halves without a doubt. And Neves' penalty, and then Neto's, well, fantastic goal from such a tight angle. A penalty call against Wolves, which on reflection, as you look back, you think, well, that could quite easily have been given and probably should have been given, especially with Wolves' penalty, but that's the way it goes sometimes. And I'm just glad that Wolves have finally won a game in the English Premier League, because it's been a very difficult run at the moment. But what I want now from a personal point of view is a fish. Actually, my first fish of February 2021. What a poor month it's been so far, although we are halfway through. So like Wolves, hopefully I've turned the corner as well. I'm in the car, ready to go home. I didn't even get a single tap in that short session. However, not really surprised due to the conditions. However, I'm happy because it's good to be back on track. And when you step back and look at the big picture of life, your health is extremely important. And whether it's just a short-term thing like a virus or something a little bit more long-term and perhaps more serious, nevertheless, those are the times when you do value how important your health is to you. So the fish will come in time. That's not a problem. I'm just happy to be back on track. I'm going to drive the short journey home now. I've got Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell in the car, not in person of course, but on Spotify, and it's the Easy album, so I'll hit shuffle and perhaps get a couple of tracks in before I get home, and then have a cup of tea and a warm by the fire. If you are out fishing yourself, tight lines, and I'll definitely see you soon.